Everybody, my name is Joe. This is a Dota 2 replay analysis for a, where is it? Position 1 and Guardian, I think? Oh, this is all pick. Okay. So one of the things I was looking through is I'm looking at this net worth, and this indicates there was some sort of throw around 25 minutes. I'm looking at your items, and the Fusa Blade works both on Bristle and on the Medusa. This just gives you farming efficiency. Arguably, I don't know if you need it because it's a Slark. He doesn't farm that fast, and maybe against Medusa, opting to go late game isn't the best. But the diffuse is okay. And then Sanjin Yasha, it's fine. You have status resistance, helps a little bit against Medusa. But then we see Slark has no items. And then right here, he's at 12,000 gold, gets an Orchid, and in 10 minutes, he doubles his net worth 24,000 Aegis. So something happened with this Slark where you're just not paying attention to the Orchid, and he maybe kills you a bunch, or I don't know. Bristle gets Radiant's Heart. Okay. Bristle's opting to go carry. And then Medusa's got normal Medusa items. Blink Solar Crest and position 5 items looking for maybe Lotus? I'm not good at reading items on position 5. Blink on Sand King, Vanguard on Axe and Blink, so nothing too weird. Gets a Blade Mail. Atos on Sky is good. Like normal items, they're just kind of slow. But it's a 37-minute game. And then there is a big throw around this point. So we'll take a look at that. Maybe I'll look a little bit at your laning phase, and then we can see maybe what's going on. Against their lineup, the two things that I'm worried about are the damage from Bristleback and the Stone Gaze from Medusa, because those two things can kill you through your spell immunity, but then you also have Omni Slash, which should be okay once you get Diffusal to be able to start dealing with these two. Slark is kind of scary because he Essence shifts and then you can't really hit him, but he can't kill you until he gets some hard disable, so not a big deal. Anything else? I don't see any huge problems. You got three forms of hard disable. You have initiation, you are tower pressure, and split push cutting waves. So there's nothing really missing from your team. Let's look at the scoreboard while it downloads. 37 minutes, you are Jug, 220 last hits. I like to see where this fell off, but Battle Fury Jug should be hitting more creeps than this. Hero damage looks okay. Building damage looks a little bit low compared to their Medusa, who did 7,000 worth of building damage. Yeah, so you're not hitting building it enough. Kill Medusa twice, probably after Diffusal. Not really trying to kill Bristle. You killed their supports twice, which is good. Killed Slark twice. So if we're looking back at the game, I don't think you killing them does anything. So I think you're trying to kill them too much, because you have Storm, you have Sky, you have Sand King, you have Axe to kill people. But none of these heroes really hit buildings, so you just needed to hit more buildings, and that was probably what cost you the game. And then Slark, I don't know what happened. He got Orchid and killed everybody. That kind of happens in unranked. For your starting items, I'd like to see you start with a stick, maybe look to build it into a wand. I've been seeing a lot of people just start with wand, but that's not what you should be doing, and it's really weird to see like a 2-minute wand in a laning stage and then they don't get 20 charges, or they don't even use the 20 charges, and it's just like, why are you building wand if you don't use the charges? But you might be able to kill him, depends on what your laning support is, but the idea is you get as much as you can before Bristle hits like level 5, and then you rotate to the jungle and just start farming the jungle. Maybe move up to the top tower and kill their carry. Like if you kill Slark and then take his lane at 7-8 minutes and you get a free lane, then he has to sit and farm the jungle for maybe 100 GPM less than you are. You get the tower, which makes the game a little bit safer for you, and then you get Battle Fury, which just lets you push and accelerate your farm before he does anything. You are starting probably with the Skywrath, and then the Axe and the Sand King are off lane. So player perspective, Jug. Yeah, so you got your Skywrath. He starts with a wand. You start with a wand. Slippers are okay. Tangos, and then you have Race Band queued up. Yeah, that's fine. I'd like to see more tangos. You're queuing up items, which is good. You're going phase boots. This is a mistake. Because eventually Bristle gets too hard to control, and phase boots is for winning the lane. It doesn't help you clear up camps faster. This should be power treads. What skill does he take? You don't check your support skills. He takes his nuke. Is this a slow or a nuke? I thought he had a slow. 4-second slow. Concussive shot would have been better. It's 80 versus 90. It's a longer cooldown, but this lets you kill people. Maybe he'll get it level 2. You don't have a way of securing the range creep, so I don't mind this. Ancient Seal. The silence isn't important right now. Mystic Flare, he might get it level 6, but I don't know if it'll do anything. Helps a little bit against Bristly because his passive resistance I don't think works against magic damage. One thing to note is your spin doesn't prevent Bristle's physical damage from like hitting you, so it only really deals with the slow from Lich, which is okay. But you can spin that off instead of spinning out to the rune, which is dangerous because now you don't have spin if they like block you, or I don't know. It can be scary just spinning out there. I would wait because it doesn't look like from their draft they have any hard disables that will stop you. Like the slow is okay, but you can react to that afterwards. Just spinning out there means you don't have it. But it's also good to some extent that you have it off cooldown in the laning phase, but I don't think you need to spin aggressively. Fast hits. Pull my creep aggro, get some denies off. Deny the range creep, okay. So normally you'd have a lot more wand charges, and I don't know why there's no wand charges, but I guess Bristle's not spamming you with any spells, which is strange. I can't check what's on your courier. Let me see. Free camera. And that's yours. You just have a Wraithband component. In difficult lanes where you're not actually hitting your opponent, I don't think you should start with Wraithband. And since you're not getting any stick charges, I think going for the wand is a little bit of overinvestment. And this phase boost isn't going to help you. I would say just sending yourself more regen tangos. If you're going to take Healing Ward at level 3, which doesn't seem like they have anything that can really break it, I would say Clarities maybe would help you. Mangoes, any kind of regen, because you're sitting at no mana, so now you can't spin, and now you're at half HP, so if you try and walk up to this bristle, even though you're level 2, and should be able to actually start hitting him, you can't do anything because, oh well. This guy has no mana, that's his problem, but you having no mana as well is a issue. But you're getting last hits, so I don't care. Player perspective. There's a couple of trees that you should be cutting at the start of the game as carry. It's not going to be important in these Guardian games, but it does start to get more impactful as you start to climb. Free camera. Cutting these 2 trees lets you walk this way if your support starts trading. That way you don't have to walk all the way around. It is these 2 trees. You can actually just cut this one. And this lets your support pull from the large camp at 17 in case they either miss this pull or they can't do the side pull here at 25. Just makes it easier. I don't think your supports will actually do anything off of it, but it also makes it easier for you because then you can start dealing with it. Now you have a Clarity queued up, but I think it's a little bit late. Because now you can't really trade with this guy. And if you had a Clarity or even just a Mango, you'd actually start being able to trade with this guy. And you have a Wraithband that's almost there. It's like halfway. So like a Wraithband or a Salve or something, but you can't do anything. And why are you... Oh! Oh, I see what's going on. If I slow it down and go back, we'll see what's actually happening. So... this is why. Okay. It's this tree. Missed your block, but that's okay. No one at your level can block anyway. So we have 2 stick charges, 3. And now we have no stick charges. So in terms of regen, Magic Stick is good at burst heal. It's not like a heal over time. If you want heal over time, you should have a Salve or a Clarity, or even Mangoes and like Tangos are going to be better than the Magic Stick because it's not going to help you regen. But if they go on you, it's really great because it's like 300 HP in the laning stage when it's full, and then you can upgrade it to a wand for additional stats, and then you get a burst heal of 20. It starts to fall off around like 15 minutes or so, but it's decent as like a burst heal. This spin is not helping you. They didn't have any spells. Conserve mana. Okay, so I'm just talking about it. You have wand charges, and because you're not conserving them and you're just using them one at a time, it's actually not helping you. Less HP at the time, and if like the lower HP you are, the more likely your opponents are going to make mistakes and overcommit. And then this wand is amazing because now they're under your tower. You're 300 HP and they're taking tower shots, and then you have spin, and then you can spin on them. But what I'm seeing from you is you're just like, oh, I'm in danger, so let me just hit spin. But you're not actually in danger because this guy burns his spell. It is a 19-second spell, and you see him use it, and then now he doesn't have it. Living armor, nature's guise, so he doesn't have anything that can stop you. And then if he has overgrowth, then you can actually see him root you, and then you can spin. But they don't have any silences, they don't have any hard stuns. Like if this was a Sand King and Axe, Axe has Call, which pierces through BKB, so spin would be more for the speed boost and not getting like stun locked from the Sand King. But in this lane where it's just a slow and a slow, he doesn't even have goo, so it's not even a slow and a slow. You don't need to preemptively use spin. Your support salved you. One of the things that may be hurting you because you've dropped from, why didn't you get more salve? What happened? And you didn't take healing word. He salved you, didn't he? You need more clarities, more tangos, more salves. He salves you, doesn't he? I'm so confused. Okay, he salves you, but it breaks. Why does it break? Okay. And then slow it down. Bristle just casually walks over and breaks your salve. Okay. Not much you can do about that. Maybe back off a little bit beforehand, but if your Sky's going to salve you, you don't have any control of when he does it. This is why you buy your own salves and your own tangos. I think because you're coming from a higher MMR, after you failed your recalibration, you're used to your teammates actually playing correctly and salving you at the right time. So you should be buying your own salves in this lower MMR. Eventually it's inefficient, but until your opponents are actually punishing that inefficiency, you should be buying your own regen. There's the movement slow. And now you have your healing word. Okay. I don't mind your skill build right now. Boots plus regen. If you're going to sit here, pop your healing word like right here, sit it back there, and you can bounce back and forth between it. I don't care. But you can't sit at 200 HP. Usually people can burst you around 5 to 600. So if you're sitting around this threshold or below, you need to be regenning, playing scared. And that means you don't get last hits. And now Bristle's ahead of you by 3 last hits. Sure, he's missing a little bit of the denies, but you could be way more aggressive in terms of like kill potential. Let's see what level he is. Level 3, so you can't really kill him now. And you as a damage support without, or a damage carry without slow or any kind of utility besides damage, you're not really in control of the kill potential on this Bristle. And if Sky doesn't take his slow until level 3 instead of the Arcane Bolt, then it's not your fault that you don't kill the Bristle. Okay, healing word just comes a little bit late.
What sort of prize is this? Haste, you fancy it now, do ya?
For some reason, Bristle didn't break your healing word. You can sit it back here, and it still does the same thing. You just have to have a hotkey bound to select all units, or you can box select. But having it sit right next to your hero, where someone can just walk up and hit it, it wastes the healing word. Get last hits. So, this is what I was talking about. Bristleback Quill Spray goes through your BKB. Maybe you don't know it. It helps against the slow, but if you're spinning him down and sitting on top of him, he's building up Quill Spray stacks, and then as soon as like you come out of it, he can just goo you and you can't do anything. So be aware that aggressively spinning on somebody means now you don't have it to escape. And in a lane where you don't really kill them, yeah, you shouldn't be aggressively spinning on them unless your support is like, I got 2 points of my slow. We should go on him. 30%, 35. Like if this guy walks up and slows the bristleback, and Bristle is sitting at how much damage do you do with spin? It's 135 over 5 seconds, or is it 135 per second? If it's 135 per second, that would be 675, which seems like a lot. So it's probably total. But if Bristle's sitting at like half HP and you've got a nuking support with a slow, then you can probably kill him. What's he at? Yeah, if he's sitting at 300. Where was he before? 500. So if he's sitting at 300, you should be able to kill him.
There you go. Trouble's over.
Yeah. Just an overcommitment. In this lane, you don't need to kill them. Once Bristle hits 3, there's no point in trying to kill him. You just itemize and build your skill levels to finish creep waves faster. Checking it over. It's not your courier.
This ain't how I
Any drunken buffoon can pick a fight, Bristleback. It takes a warrior to finish one.
That kill doesn't particularly help you because you can still farm the side camps, and it doesn't really slow Bristleback down. Kind of does, but not in the sense that it helps you take a tower, and now you don't have this to rotate over to the safe lane and maybe kill the Slark. You're not really going to kill the Medusa, so if you're not going to really kill anybody, and that was a risky play, but I would just say you can skip your Omni Slash unless you're going to really go for a play and go for an extra point in Blade Dance or another point in Blade Fury, just to farm these camps faster. And what you would do is you push out this wave, and then you would rotate over to this large camp, which is right here. And now Bristle's stuck under this camp, or under his tower, and then you farm this large camp, you farm the small camp, and if you have time, you can kind of come here. And then eventually the wave is right under your tower, and you come back and you hit it, push it out, and then you can farm the camps again. But the trying to kill Bristleback and the tree, it doesn't help you do anything aside from give you maybe, how much gold was it? You got 200 gold for that, and Bristleback's missing like 200 gold, so a 400 gold swing, but it doesn't change the pace of the game, and you farming faster than their Slark is going to help you.
double damage.
Player perspective.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Why'd you TP? This is what clarities are for. You don't need to go back to base. Because, what? You killed the Bristle, you just farmed the camp, and then you use your clarity, and then you're fine. This does 6 times 30, 180. That brings you back above full mana. There's no point in going back to base for that. And now your TP's on cooldown.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
if you're gonna TP
Dire's
anywhere,
middle tower is under
I would have
attack.
TP'd. If you're gonna TP, you TP over to like this tower, and then you stack this camp, or you stack these two camps if you can. But the lane is over. Bristleback doesn't really die because he's got his Warpath passive. He's got his damage reduction. Maybe you can kill him with what's it called? With Omni, but it doesn't stop him. Like, it doesn't take his tower. It doesn't stop him from pushing the wave. It just doesn't seem like it's a good play. And now that the lane is over, like, if you get phase boots at 6 minutes, okay, maybe it works. But now you need to be in farm mode. And phase boots in farm mode isn't going to help you. I think you need to have the power treads because it saves you mana. It gives you more movement speed. It gives you extra attack damage, attack speed. And now you need to farm your Battle Fury, but your Battle Fury is kind of late. And this wand tells me, okay, I'm going to go fight, but now you're going to be farming. So these two don't make sense. And the way that you were using your wand would have told me you were going to use it as like a burst heal to stay in the lane longer, but now you just have to leave the lane completely. So the items don't make sense based on what you want to do. Get rid of this. So now we're just going to hit creeps for the next 20 minutes.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Stack the camp, okay.
I've been wanting this. Stupendous.
So one of the issues that I have is your mana and your HP aren't equal, so you could put down another healing ward. You're not close to level 9, so you're not going to level another point in healing ward just yet. And then you have this clarity that's not being used. So you can use the clarity and the healing ward, and then you'd be basically at the same amount of mana, but you'd be higher HP, or you can tank some more damage.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Defending your mid tower is fine.
Dire's top tower.
Can't really defend. Okay, you TP into this fight. And then you die. So we know that this was a bad play, but I would be fine trading this tower and rotating down and taking their safe lane tower. But if we look at what Slark is... Oh, Slark is also dead. Okay. This would have been a tower for sure. It's half HP. You can tank the tower shots with your healing ward, and you probably aren't going to die. But at the very least, you can spin out, and that'd be okay.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So if you just didn't die there, you'd be ahead of Slark.
Is under attack.
But
Dire's middle tower.
you don't need to defend this tower.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's top tower.
I'd be okay with you defending the mid tower, because the mid tower is a lot more important than your safe lane tower. Or just hitting more creeps. But TPing into a fight where you're probably not going to kill the person you're trying to kill is difficult. And again, the reason you die is Bristleback has a BKB piercing. It's physical damage, sure, but it's like bonus damage the more he hits it off, and you don't have any way of dispelling it. And the only way that you guarantee you don't die is you Omni Slash him to death fairly quickly, and you don't have the damage to do that because all you have is really a broadsword. And I like that you went the broadsword first because you don't really need the mana regen, you don't really need the HP regen, just the phase boots is costing you. So now they're invading your farm, and then they chase you down. So I don't know if you used phase boots during that, but if they don't have a disabled that pierces BKB, you just spin and TP, because it spin is a 5-second duration, and if you TP to fountain, that's 3 seconds, and it means you don't die. So in situations like that where it's iffy if you're going to escape, and they're doing damage to you while you're spinning, then you just need to TP out.
Dire's structures are fortified.
But those are 2 deaths that just didn't need to happen.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
One of the things on carry that maybe doesn't apply, but I've been using as like a benchmark, you have 5 deaths as a carry that you can get away with. And if they're in the beginning of the game, it's maybe not as bad as at the end of the game because your death timer isn't going to be as long. But if you're missing creeps because you died at the beginning of the game, you may not hit the item timings that you need to hit, and then the game gets impossible. So you're already at 3 out of 5 deaths. If you have any more, the game is basically over. So at this point, you should say, I'm dying. I just need to hit creeps because there's nothing I can really do. I don't need to spin on this bristle. I don't need to defend a tower. The other thing that I want to point out, free camera. So there's tier 1s, tier 2s, and tier 3s. Offensively, you are responsible for the tier 3s on the enemy side and the tier 3s on your side. So unless they're like walking up to high ground, you're not responsible for it because you're not online yet. You don't have no items. If you TP into this fight, sure, you have Omni Slash, but this is more like a 1v1 kind of thing until you get insane amounts of damage and maybe Aghanims. But this TP is just a waste of time. You could be hitting this camp, getting your Battle Fury. Like this entire side of the map is yours. And they're not going to contest you because they're going for this tier 3. Or this tier 1. But you spin in, you eat Lich's ultimate, which is cool. And then you're going to Omni Slash. And now you have to leave. And now you're not hitting any creeps. Wait. Okay. 65 at 14 minutes is not okay. You should have at least 100, if not 140. This is half the amount of last hits you need. I would say right now as a carry, the guide for when you should show up to fights is, do I have more than 10 last hits per minute? So if you had 150 last hits, I'd be cool with you showing up to this fight. But because you don't have that number, just you leave. You don't show up because you're completely useless right now. Sure, you got a kill. You got 2 kills, but I don't think you need to be at this fight. Because now you're splitting XP 5 ways with your team. And you killing them doesn't even get you a tower. You should be hitting the tower. Why are you hitting the camp? Why are you hitting the camp with your Sand King? Perfectly good creep wave, this tower is dead, and then now this side of the jungle is yours. If you're going to show up for an aggressive fight, you need to play for objectives, not just take camps. And now they're going to TP in and you didn't get the tower. The other problem with taking defensive fights like this is it's harder to push the wave and then take an objective. But if they're taking a 4v4 on your side of the map, or a 4v5 on your side of the map, and you just casually walk over and hit this tower is gone, and you get solo experience from the creep wave, and you got the tower, and your team is just sitting here defending the tower without hard committing. And maybe you trade, but this tower is not worth very much. And they split it 4 ways. But if you get this by yourself, great, and then you get the solo kill if somebody TPs in, and now you have Omni Slash. But you Omni Slashing a group of like 4 people doesn't get you a tower. Again, we're spinning on the Bristle. Bristle kind of just does damage to us while we're spinning, and then we kind of die. And we don't have Omni, so there's no point in us sitting around with our team when we're really weak. We have no items, and we have no ultimate. So hit this camp, or hit this creep wave, hit this creep wave, farm these camps. There's camps all over the map that aren't being farmed. Where are you?
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
okay.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Invisibility.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
So I think you have a misunderstanding of what Jug does. Your spin isn't an aggressive tool. Like, you can use it to get on top of people, but it's better used as an escape. And I like that it does damage, but if you show up in a creep wave and you spin, they can't silence you, they can't hex you. And if you're spinning towards somebody and you're using the duration of Blade Fury, you're effectively using half of it because you have to walk away. And if you spin them down and then you finish the spin and you're still on top of them, now you don't have spin and then you die. You can do that with Omni Slash, but then you end up in the situation where you spin them down and you're chasing them and they're running towards their team, and then you Omni Slash and they're still running towards your team, and now you've finished Omni Slash and you finished Blade Fury and you're standing in between 5 people. So Blade Fury and Omni Slash are better tools used defensively when you're running towards your team and getting them to overextend on top of you than the other way around.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's courier has been killed.
Whoa, what'd I miss? Told you a storm was coming. Blew it. You are flat, son.
This is a bad TP, because now you're on the side of the map with Bristleback, and Medusa's dead, sure, but the 2 heroes that can kind of kill you, you're on the same side of the map as one of them, and now Medusa only has to show up here, and now you don't get to farm. So try to stay on the opposite side of the map as the people that can kill you. I don't think Lich can kill you. I don't think Tree can kill you. Maybe Slark, but he hasn't been doing anything all game. So if you see Bristle bottom, I'm content with you staying top, because Bristle then TP's top, and then after that you can TP bottom. But right now you don't get to farm if Bristle says, "Oh, I'm gonna go on this whatever his face is, the Juggernaut."
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
But you're hitting Ancients. Ancients are fine. They're not doing anything right now. You're at 100 last hits. You should double this. And this is fine. Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Blown away.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Structures.
Where was the creep wave when you were doing that?
Is under attack.
Because it worked out. Okay. Creep wave is under both of their towers. This is okay. because there's nothing else to really do. But if the creep waves were farther back and Bristleback wasn't showing on the map, then this would be a really bad fight. And the problem with you spinning onto them runs you into the situation where Lich messed up. But if he used his Chain Frost better, you couldn't escape because now you don't have spin. He messed up. Okay. I don't like the spin sound. Turn off the spin. Turn off the spin.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh no, it's a glitch. Okay. So I'm just going to look and see what happens with the throw, because right now you're winning. Maybe not in terms of gold, but you should be winning in terms of like XP. Yeah, your team is slowly creeping ahead. And Slark just died. So their carry isn't going to come online. Medusa just died. And you just got Battle Fury. You should have at least Battle Fury Manta or something at this point in the game. Or in the next couple minutes before you decide to join a fight like this. 105. Yeah, so your last hits are low, especially for going for Battle Fury. I'll look and see why the game was a throw, and then we can look at the next one. But I think what will stop you from climbing is you're doing these low percentage plays that work half the time, and then you get placed against better players, and this just doesn't work because you have no items. And it's only working because your opponents messed up their Chain Frost. They messed up and they have no items. Like, Slark has no items. And if the Slark had just farmed items, Medusa has no items. She should have, like, Manta and at least a Ultimate Orb at this point. She should have maybe 180 minimum if she's deciding to fight. And Slark should have more than 52. Oh my god, this is nothing. You can't have that as a Slark. But this is the reason it's working, is because they have no items, and it barely works. So the throw is at 27 minutes. Roche is still up.
Dire's middle tower.
And we're taking defensive fights. Just clear the creep wave and then leave. Omni Slash failed. Okay. Oh. Does Slark have Orchid? Slark has Orchid now. And then the game is over. Okay.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen.
Let's go back a bit. What happened when Slark got Orchid?
Dire's
24 minutes. Ah! Game disconnected. Okay. Well, I think that's what happened. You didn't expect Slark to have Orchid. He should have had it at, I don't know, 12, at least 20 minutes. And now the game is stuck. But that's my assessment, is you are going for these plays that you're underfarmed, but your opponents are more underfarmed, and now it's working. But as soon as you start playing against better players, it's not working. And then you're wasting money on items, and then you're using your actives a little bit incorrectly. So your opponents just kind of kill you. And you're not maybe checking people's items. It's very weird that he got an Orchid at 24 minutes and then started killing everybody. You should have maybe a BKB. So I'll talk a little bit about Sanj and Yasha, because they've changed status resistance. This is the only item that grants status resistance now. And the reason you go for something like this is the only way you die as a BKB carrying carry, they stun lock you. And when you have status resistance, it reduces the amount of time you spend stun locked. It doesn't change the total damage if it's like a nuke from Doom or I forget what it is, Nightmare or Brain Sap, something like that. But it does reduce the amount of time that you are stun locked. And then it changes so that you can BKB sooner and you're not taking as much physical damage. So this is useful if you end up getting a BKB or a Manta or something. But once they got things that make it so you can't spin out, then you kind of die. And the way that you were using spin, I don't think it would have mattered if you had a BKB or you had a Manta, because you were just aggressively spinning on top of people. So I don't think you would have had it anyway. But the idea is still, you get BKB and then Sanjin Yasha, and then you become unkillable. I don't know if it's good on Jug. It's not bad, I'll tell you that. I think the phase boots were a mistake, and the early fighting before you got your Battle Fury plus something else. So if you want to improve, I'm going to say focus more on getting last hits. Go for try not to show up for fights unless they're at your tier 2s or tier 3s, and you have Omni Slash and you've hit more than 10 creeps per minute, because then you'll have enough farm to actually do something. And if you're slightly off of your next item, I would say you can hold off on fighting, tell your teammates to hold off. They probably aren't going to do it, but the more often you get farm as a carry, the more impact you're going to have on the game, and the more like you are going to win. The Slark ended up just killing everybody, which is weird, because he had no items and then got Orchid, and then the game completely changed. But that's weird. All right. I'm not going to look at the win you sent me because... Okay, fine. I'll look at the win you sent me, because I think we'll see the same thing. It's just not going to be as apparent why you're losing. Because in this game, it's also the same issues. If I go back to watch, it's just you ended up losing accidentally. Like, this should have been a win. Second match ID. What was that? Okay. Where are you? This one. So this was a stomp. Okay. And you're on Ricky. So BKB is fine, Diffusel's fine, Corrosion, Butterfly, what do they have? So again, they have the Slark, they have a Troll. Hard disables against Troll are good. He tends to buy... Oh, he doesn't have BKB. What? He just has no farm. He has no items at 33 minutes into the game. Well, okay. This is why you're winning your games. Because, like, the ones that you're winning, the enemy team has nothing. Let's look at the graphs. Player net worth. And Ricky. Okay, you're not going to outfarm an Alk, so that's fine. You're tied with Kunkka. Do you have a Battle Fury? Battle Fury? Not a Battle Fury. So that's okay, because you have the Alk who's just going to farm. But I think Battle Fury lets you push faster on Ricky, and then you go for Battle Fury Ags, and it lets you start fighting people. I don't know if this is mid. This is all pick unranked, so there's no roles. Completely different hero. So I don't know if I'm going to do anything about it. So with Ricky, you basically don't die as soon as you start getting items. I don't remember what his Ags does, but I think it gives you more uptime of your tricks of the trade and your smoke, and you're basically just doing damage where they can't actually touch you. And BKB kind of helps. It just depends on what they have. Like sometimes you can go Lincoln, sometimes you go BKB. It just depends on what stops them from deactivating your skills. And usually smoke, your smoke screen is enough to keep you alive long enough to get Tricks of the Trade-off. So if they end up getting BKB, maybe you get a Abyssal, or you just get a Basher or something like that. Starting items, I can't tell what they're going. It's probably a Batten and I don't know who their support is. It's 5 cores. Okay. So I don't know what you're going. Balanced kind of build is okay. Trading with this guy is fine. They have a position 4 Slark, which is kind of silly, but okay. Okay. So low percentage play again that almost works. This isn't going to work as you go higher and higher. For camera. So the point of the runes, until you start getting into professional play where the difference of 50 gold matters, this is just to trade HP regen and mana regen with your opponent when they are oblivious to what's important. So you walk up to this rune, doesn't matter if you get it, like it's helpful, but making sure it costs them a significant amount of regen is what matters. And the fact that if you survive here, you have to use your salve is a mistake. And sure, Abaddon has to use his salve to survive, but he can just go back to base and TP, and that's fine. And now you're likely to die to these two heroes. He just gave up. Okay. Cut this tree. I like to cut this one and one of the ones over here, but you don't need to cut as many trees on Radiant. Getting last hits. Your Dazzle needs to pull now because he messed up the creep wave. Still using creep aggro, that's fine. Almost, that's fine. You should have a clarity scent and more tangos. The fluffy hat and the orb of venom probably aren't going to help you. Since they've added the recipe, it's maybe not a go-to every game. It's good if you have a lot of kill potential, but Dazzle's not a kill potential hero. He doesn't have a stun. He doesn't have a slow. Oh, he's got a slow, but that's not a significant amount of slow. Like when we were looking at the Skyraz Mage, it was 35% slow at level 2. So if he maxes this, it's not really a slow. It can't help, but I don't think it's enough kill potential, especially on an Abaddon. Like these really tanky offlaners, you're not really trying to kill them. You're just trying to make sure you get more CS than they do, and either force them out of the lane for a little bit, or just push the wave into their tower, and then start farming these camps. You have a significant number of creeps. This is the time if you're going to be aggressive. You're level 2. Slark, okay, Slark is level 2. Your Dazzle's low HP. But when you have this many creeps, rather than trying to deny all of them, you try and get all their regen. Like you could have forced his salve with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creeps. Like two creeps is almost a hero in the lane. Your Dazzle should be pulling right now. because your lane is aggressively pushing, but you can push it and then maybe farm it yourself. Okay, Dazzle pulls for you. That's good. Your opponents aren't punishing you right now, but when there's two heroes here and your Dazzle's busy, this is dangerous. I don't mind you missing creeps to not take a bunch of damage, but okay. I guess you can kind of get out, and they don't have a stun, but it can be scary walking up to heroes like this. I don't play a lot of Ricky, so I don't quite know. And now you have no mana. Where are you? Half mana, you get a kill. So what I'd like you to change about your playstyle is try not to be as aggressive as you are. Your opponents are going to make mistakes and they're just going to randomly die, especially if you have more regen than them. If you see you have more creeps, like this would be a mistake to start trying to hit this at bad end. But if you have more creeps than they do, if you have a level advantage, then you can go aggressive. But the lane needs to be in a favorable spot, or you need to be able to pull, or if you pull and they try and contest it, then you can walk up and try and kill them. But they need to be doing something to you that warrants you killing them. And right now this Abaddon isn't stopping you from farming, so there's no reason that you need to put your game at risk trying to kill them. Okay, your support salves you, which is good. You're still low on mana. I'd like to see you have a clarity. You have your power treads queued up, which is good. And then last hits and denies at the end of the lane. Your top CS. 5 minutes. One of the things you can do to help your support at 5 minutes is like 4 minutes and 30 you start pushing the wave out so it's up here so you can shift over and help them with the rune. And then you can either farm the large camps, have them pull the small camp, something like that. But having the creep wave here means that your support isn't going to help you, and if they start diving you like this, you are kind of dead. Not dead because you're Ricky, but in other heroes, yeah, you're dead.
Radiant's bottom Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Regeneration. Not so fast. Missing middle.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
How much is that worth? 152 gold. Maybe the Slark was worth it, but 152 gold is about the same as Creep Wave, and this doesn't cost you anything.
Missing middle.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under
Missing
attack.
middle.
So what I think Ricky does as a hero is once he gets 6, he's kind of survivable, and this may be why you should be aiming for your Battle Fury. But you can just sit in a lane, kind of like Juggernaut, and then your support can leave, especially because he doesn't give you a whole lot of kill potential, because he's only got a 15% slow, 14% slow, and then he's got, are these nukes? That's a heal. No matter how close they are to death, they don't die. As long as he has a TP, you don't die. Because if this guy rotates up top, it's helpful for the rest of your team.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And that kill on Slark still happens.
Dire's bottom
But you don't kill Abba, you don't take the tower, you just farm creep waves and you kill side camps.
is under attack.
I usually tell my support to leave the lane around 7-8 minutes unless I know I can get kills with it.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's under attack. Dire's middle
Double
tower
damage.
is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
So you're not farming fast enough on Ricky, because you get the backstab when you blink strike, and you can Tricks of the Trade and you get more damage off of that. Depends on how much agi you have. But I think you're just backstabbing them, and it works, but you can clear creep waves much faster if you use your spells.
Dire's top tower
Not for
is
the
under
likes of
attack.
you.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
This says bonus damage, right? Yeah.
Radiant's bottom Dire's top tower is under attack.
It heals like the
What does your eggs do?
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Alright, let's go back and just look at why you died, because it's one of your few deaths. And
Dire's
set of 4 times speed.
under attack.
So this is the reason why Ricky doesn't hit towers. Towers have true sight. Everything in this range they can see, even if you're invis. Abaddon's super tanky. And then it triggers. And then Lena kills you. I think this is one of the major problems you might be having. You don't know what kills you as your hero, so you're just kind of aggressive regardless of who's here. Ricky dies when they have disables and when they have magical nukes, because he's got low HP, and if they can burst you before you can get away or before you go invis, then you kind of die. Against physical damage, you're relatively safe unless they have something like a crit or diffusal, I guess, because then you can't Tricks of the Trade out. Or if they bring just a, what's it called? If they bring a dust, then you also die. But Tricks of the Trade sometimes lets you escape, and smokescreen means that you don't get what's it called? Disabled if you're standing on top of them, but now you don't have your smokescreen. And smokescreen plus Tricks of the Trade is what lets you escape. So if you don't have both of these spells, you can't go in deep. And this is the mistake for you. Because you use Tricks of the Trade and then you blink strike, and now you have no tools to escape. I think Lena still kills you anyway, but not having both of these spells means you die. Yeah. So there's no throw that happens for you. Let's look at the net worth for the enemy team. I think it was just a steady increase. Yeah. I'm going to stop here. It was just a steady loss for the enemy team because they continued to group up even though they had no items, no one was farming. Nothing really major happened in terms of team fights that led them to lose. You just kind of overwhelmed them eventually and killed them. The thing to start for you is thinking about what naturally kills your hero and farming more frequently. Or farming faster, things like that. Using spells on creep waves because creep waves are the most dangerous, and then rotating over to the jungle to start farming. We can talk about farming under wards, placing defensive wards, placing offensive wards. There's just a lot that you're not doing on your hero that would keep you safe, but I can't talk about them because your opponents aren't actually doing anything, and this is an unranked game, so it doesn't particularly matter. Um, play some more ranked games and send me some of those. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, whatever it is you need to do to help my channel grow. Get some more money going for me. Yeah, cool.